Nityanandam. So today I wanted to speak about how I started seeking my spiritual path. I remember when I was a kid, I always liked to be the character who would use prana or mana or their own power to be able to do something, or a mage. I never liked using the archer or the warrior. I didn't like that part of using your own power. I remember when I was younger, I would sit when I went to the United States. I would sit in the room, and I would sit in a completely dark room. I would sit there, and all the auras of everything would start coming out, just blankly looking. And to this day, I can still see auras. Another incident of now I know why I've always flew off my bike when I was younger, because subconsciously I always wanted to fly. I remember one dream when I would climb to the top of the playground, and I would jump off the top of the playground, and right before I hit the ground I would hope that I fly, and I just start flying all around the playground. But I also had dreams about me falling a lot as well. And by then I was much older, and I think that's when I started becoming a little bit more conditioned into society. I wasn't flying anymore. I was just, right before hitting the ground, jumping out of my bed. And then another incident with my aura seeing. I remember one time I was putting on a red bed sheet on my bed, and all of a sudden everything in my vision turned green. I literally became blind with the color green. I couldn't see anything. And at that time, when kids have those kind of abilities, they will consider you as special, need, or whatever the case may be. So at the time, my mother just told me, "Oh, just take your medication," and I just took my medication and went to bed. But that wasn't the case. It was just numbing my abilities down. So over time, I forgot about my aura seeing and my abilities until the 12-12-12 shift happened in 2012. Right when that happened, or right before that happened actually, there was a survey being taken in my school when I was in high school. And I was eating lunch, and one of my friends was walking around getting a survey of who thinks the world is going to end or not. And everyone I saw on the list said no. No one said yes. And I wanted to support the people who said yes. So I went ahead and I just checked off yes. I was the only person who said the world was going to end. And it's quite funny because who really said the world was going to end? Was it the Mayans or was it scientists? The only people who said the world was going to end was the scientists. The Mayan is not here to tell us that. You see, the scientists are more logical. If you were to go ahead and look at a flower, what would you do? You would admire the color, you would admire the beauty. You know, when it comes to a scientist, they're going to count the petals of how many petals it is, and each month it's growing, and the texture and the scientific name. They didn't understand the message that the Mayan left behind. So right after the 12-12-12 shift happened, we went ahead and entered the age of feminine energy. That's when people started becoming more rebellious. They started being, more controlled and being less controlled in society. People started rioting. People started talking their word. And, before the United States, they just wanted security, not freedom. But now they're pushing for freedom. And it's only for so long until that's going to come. So right after 2013 started, I started searching up things on Google. That was my only resource at the time. I didn't have a guru, or I didn't have a mentor. But that was my only source at the moment to see what other people's experience was like in the spiritual journey. So I started searching up things. I was practicing different things, and then I went back to Google because those things were too boring and all this studying and stuff. And I ended up finding out I typed in specifically this: what can I do with my own energy? And then I started finding things about chakras. And after chakras, I started finding things about your third eye. So then I started finding different meditations. I started playing with some of the meditations, and one day I woke up and my third eye was just rapidly pulsing as I woke up. And I was so excited. And at the time, I actually even created a group I called it like the secret circle in my high school with my closest friends to begin with. And we would go to like the highest parts of town, and I would teach them meditation, and all of a sudden they'll start feeling their third eye, and it was like, wow, it's not just what you're saying, I'm actually feeling it. So then eventually I started going towards more of disclosure, extraterrestrials, and then eventually I started becoming more steady with what I was running off. Right when 2013 happened, I became a sponge. So anything new age, I just started absorbing. And not that all of it was correct, but at least I had the feeling that there was something more than what society was giving me. So I started following I started following people who was channeling beings from like fifth dimension, and then I started following people who spoke, like TED or TED Talk, or other people who would speak about, wise words and wisdoms, some other gurus, but nothing really stuck with me. I was jumping from one thing to another until I found my guru, Swami Ji. Swami Ji, when I first saw his video, I was just so drawn in. I literally started watching at least 5 to 10 videos a day. I couldn't stop. Literally, when I wasn't working and when I wasn't eating and when I wasn't sleeping, like if I barely slept, I just watched his videos. And I literally took his teachings and applied it to my life, and it started changing so many things. I started learning about thought currents that we hold in, that we manifest off, cognitions. It was just so amazing. And I also started finding about Swami Ji through Supra Priya, which I'll be putting her YouTube link down below, along with my guru Swami Ji, which is Nityananda Paramasa. And one of the things that attracted me was manifesting powers. And this is still actually kind of new. This actually came out, I believe, last year. And one of the powers that really attracted me was consciousness over matter, which is moving matter with your third eye. And I recently got initiated about 2 months ago with this power. And so far, I have been doing great things with it. Not only have I been rolling matter, moving matter, I've started levitating, I started shifting. It's really amazing. I even heal with my third eye. Now, for everyone who wants more information about this, I can go ahead and put this in the link below. And for people who wants to know more information about these specific things I'm speaking about, you can just comment below and I'll make videos on it. But I will be uploading more. So thank you for watching. Nityananda.